Hey, so this is what we're gonna make. This is kind of where I got to. I think this is about maybe an hour and a half's work, and you'll probably most definitely want to spend more time. But we'll go through the sort of workflows of how I've created sort of my own materials. I've not really used any smart materials. These are all built from scratch, and we've avoided using a lot of some of the smart materials to make. One of the dangers of substance is that you use smart materials and it can be spotted a mile away. So we'll go through and make some basic textures. But I just wanted to show you this first, well, what we'll sort of make. And yeah, so let's get going. Hey, so I'm back, and we're going to carry on like I was always here. And sorry for not uploading a lot recently. I've just been super busy with work, and so these tutorials take a very, very long time, and put a lot of time in it and get like 3 views. But I know the important guys are watching, so thank you for watching. So we're just going to carry on with doing our flamethrower, and this one we hopefully should be at the point where you've modelled it, you've UV'd it, and you're all done. So you know, I have just thrown like a smooth over this at the end as well, because I'm just going to throw this in substance. I don't really care that it's super high poly, but you can turn the smooth off if you don't want it. You can keep it low poly. So I'm just going to export this. That's my low res one, and I'm going to just export that. It doesn't matter. To be honest, you can do low res, high res. I'm not doing, this is just one asset. If you were doing like massive environments, you'd keep it pretty low res. So that's done, and we'll open Substance Painter. And look, Substance Painter. I use this quite a lot, not at like a super mega level. There are some really great tutorials on the Substance website, so do check those out for more detailed ones. I kind of use it at a very basic sort of level, but it's enough to get me through. So I'm just going to go File, New. I'm going to leave this as... I'm just going to leave that as it is. Change it to 4K and select and our VO2. So we've got our low res one here. And I'll just click Open and OK. And here we go. We should have our flamethrower nicely modelled. It's been smoothed, so we have all those hard edges. We don't have any faceting or anything like that. And it should look all good with all your UVs as well, if you've done this. So thank you for doing it if you have. That means you've watched it all the way through. So usually the first thing that you want to do is you'll either be in layers or go up to your texture settings, and you want to bake your mesh maps. And that should open this window. So I'm just going to bake. 4K is okay on my computer, it gets a bit slow, but you can switch up and down through resolutions when you're working anyway. So then you'll have your mesh maps down here on the left, and it will automatically have all these. We definitely probably won't need thickness. Height, probably not, but it might be useful for something on maybe the bipod. Probably not, but most of this is going to be pretty useful. Probably not IDs because we didn't set any, but it should be fine. And if you're bringing in a first model, if you're just like this the first time you're bringing it in, I actually usually just do my ambient occlusion by itself, because it is usually the quickest one, and it's probably the best one to show if there is something wrong with your mesh as well. You don't necessarily have to do this, but it can pinpoint problems with your mesh. I'm hoping there's nothing wrong with mine, but you know what? I expect there is. I can see something right here, which is I'm wondering what that is. It just means that you don't have to go through the entire process of baking all these. You can now just go back here and look at your ambient occlusion. It's fine. It's maybe just a weird artifact. And you can look around, because I always use the ambient occlusion, because when you have something wrong with your mesh, it will come through as like a sharp grey patch. It will be really obvious. I don't know what that is. It could be an issue. It might not be an issue. I don't know at the moment. But you'd know if there was one, because this would look crazy. And it all seems fine. I wonder what that would be. Not entirely sure. It's going to be pretty dark in there, so it might be fine. Let's not worry too much about that. So we'll just go back and we don't need to do our ambient occlusion again. We can do a curved position and height and do those and bake them again. It just means that we don't have to sit through. If we did that, we could, if there was a problem with it, we could just go back and quickly fix it instead of just going through baking the entire textures and going, oh damn, there is something wrong. But seems to be okay at the moment. That weird thing in the sort of fuel pipe. So if you guys have been modelling this, it would be good to see it. We do have a Discord. I think we're at like 500 people, which is 499 more people than I'd ever expected to be on a Discord that I'd made. And there's a lot of people chatting on it as well, so a lot of people helping each other, which is kind of nice, which is kind of aim for it. So, yeah, we're baking maps. Not quite baking cakes, but we're baking something. And I'm not sure if my webcam is a bit laggy whilst it's recording. I'm just small head in the corner anyway, so hopefully you're watching this amazing baking process, not my face. Cool, then we'll just return to painting mode. And we should be all done. And if you want, you can look at all the other maps if you feel so. Generally, if your ambient occlusion's working, you're pretty much golden, I would say. Cool, so if you know Photoshop, it pretty much works on a very similar level. It's mostly, the hardest thing about this is probably just going to be your organization. It's very difficult sometimes to be organized when you've got loads of stuff. So I just deleted that first layer, and I'm just going to make a folder, and I'm going to call this painted parts. And can we guess what's going in that folder? Probably all the painted parts, but yeah. And I'm just going to put a fill layer. For now, I am just going to crank it down to 248 because we're not doing anything. There's no need for us to be doing anything super crazy. And I'm going to throw everything red because red is a very clear sign something is red. And on my folder, I'm just going to make a black mask. Maybe actually undo that. I'll make a white mask because there are clearly more painted bits. There are more bits that are painted, like 90% of it's painted. So better off doing a white mask and masking those bits out. And what I will do, don't have to add a paint layer, but I just like to have it there. And so I've got the paint layer, then go all the way over to the left and go to polygon fill. So we've got these little selections here, and probably can use mesh fill for now. And we're just going to select all the bits that should not be painted metal, which is not, that's probably not painted, that's not painted, that's not, that's not, that's not, that's not. So I mean, if we did the black mask, we'd have to select loads and loads of stuff. That's not, because those are sort of a shiny, clean metal. And you got all the ref as well, so hopefully you can see all that as well. I think that is painted, actually. So put that back on. Cool, so I believe that should be all the bits that are painted metal. And it just means that we've done like a mega mask on everything. So whatever we do in here, no matter how many times we mess up or do something wrong and we can sort of hide it, it's never going to affect anything else because we'll just put the rest of those in different layers as well. So what we can do we want to so let's just make the base metal. And there are obviously loads and loads of smart materials in here that we could use. And let's just take a look. Well, and we can see it's very metally. We could quite easily make this ourselves. Why is that not in the group? Cool. And so what we kind of want to do is, do we want to do it this way? I'm unsure because it's mostly, anyway, let's not worry. So you got metal brushed, and guess what? It's pretty much brushed metal. The one thing that I do want to do is I don't want to have too much of the height on there, because we will be putting it over on, I know we can mask it out and such, but I'm just going to turn it off for now. Metal brushed. And you know what, I'm gonna actually I've not prepared this, so I'm definitely making it up as I go along. So well brushed, dark, and what I'm doing here is like, yeah, most people would just throw that in and let me actually see the height. Yeah, there should be no height on that. Maybe it's just yeah, it's fine. It's just a spec. Most people just throw. The one thing that you don't want to do with substance is just throw materials on and hope for the best. You do need to do some sort of stuff with it as well. So I've just gone up to the left here and I've just selected my masks. And I'm just going to go through, and there's some pretty good masks in here. What we want. Let's go for stains and scratches. And I think this may... Did that go on it? It did. And because obviously it's the same. Kind of, we can throw out the roughness. And let's make it darker. So at the moment we're just kind of, we're not going to see all this because we're going to paint over it. We're just breaking it up. We're going to do multiple different breakups on this just so it's not like a super clean metal. And you know what? I'm not really going to change a lot. I am going to add a fill layer. Because I kind of like to do it this way. I'll throw a red mask on. And what I'll do is... Oxidization sounds fun. Let's try that. Try all the masks. Cool. Obviously, we do not want... There's definitely some bump on there. Let's turn that normal off for now. Cool. I'm just going to use this mask to break this up. Try not to like do so much on the curvature maps. I know everyone loves curvature maps, but God, you can tell when someone's gone wild with curvature. So we're not doing the paint, we're still just breaking up the base metal. We're not going to see half this, but it just means that. So if I put this to black, and what we can do, we can change this to maybe a linear dodge, something like that. See how it's kind of made it very let's just do a linear dodge on it. And you can see how it's kind of made it a bit matte in areas actually, but I kind of like it. Well, so that's actually doesn't seem to be doing anything. So I mean, let's just actually just do it that way. And we're just going to continue. Let's add another. You can go overkill on this. Some sort of scratches. Definitely scratches it. Okay, let's go subtle scratches. See what that gives us. So we can bring up the wear level on it. We can just sort of darken it. I kind of feel like this metal brush is maybe a bit. Yeah. And I think maybe we could be alright. Let's not make that one so dark. Cool, we've got a pretty, and we can check the render up here as well. Just to see what it looks like. Just, you know what, who knows. And it looks pretty terrible. So we'll just go back and we'll just adjust the roughness on this. That's what I forgot to do, is the metallic. I forgot to... That's why it was looking weird. So we kind of want to keep it all sort of shiny and stuff. We just kind of don't want it perfect when we put the mask over the top. So let's go for one more. Let's go for paint hold. Like, you don't have to stick with exactly what it's designed for. Obviously on each one of these as well, you can, if we let's go for roughness. Let's just put just a grunge in there. I don't know. That will do. That will probably do it. Don't forget, you can also, if it's kind of still looking a bit weird in places, you can add a paint. You can let's tunnel curvature down on that. Cool. I think we're pretty much done for that. And we can sort of... and we'll actually call this... we could probably actually put this all into a folder. Let's make another folder. Cool. So now we've done that, we'll just add a fill. The gun's pretty much black. It is pretty shiny. Let's add a tinge of metallicness in it. And so let's go for paint old again. Let's see what that does. Obviously that is backwards, so we can invert that. And you can see, we can now see all our sort of bits that we've sort of broken up underneath. And this is obviously like way too much. So you don't necessarily have to like tweak that. You can just kind of, let's just undo that. You can go around and just find like, maybe one that you just like say, there are some times where it's just kind of, maybe you don't want to have so much edge wear. Dirt carries, dirt dry. Stains, scratches might be our winner. And let's invert that. So let's try that. Let's massively reduce our curvature. And what we can do, we can add some height on that. So now, so if I like, oh no, wrong one. Where are we? There we go. So you can see what it's doing there. That's obviously way too much. Now, because we're painted over the top, it's going to be raised off the surface. So this is obviously a lot of scratches. Actually not too keen on that. Maybe we can just reduce it. Like I was saying, a lot of this is gonna be like layering masks. So maybe we should actually go for something that's a bit heavy-handed first, maybe. Yeah. There's not like a huge amount to choose from, but you know, it's hard to choose one. Let's try sharp dirt. Could be too much. Ooh, this is all. Let's just try that one. Oh my god, where's it gone? Let's go back to that one. Cool. So I think maybe what's not really helping as well, that our texture's a bit naff. So if I remember, let's add a filter. We can go with something like a matte finish. And it kind of looks like in the ref it's kind of painted. So you can sort of see it's height is quite high. Let's reduce that. We only want it like really subtle. And that's probably going to be the most important thing, is to keep things subtle. Let's add a fill layer on that. No, we don't want to do that. We could, yeah. Let's turn off the color height. See, metal. So we've just got our roughness. So we can throw maybe. You'll have to try them out. See which ones kind of fit your need. That's there's a lot of this on top which I kind of don't like either. So you can maybe change that to normal. We'll just reduce it. In fact, let's do that at a different paint layer, I think. Let's fix the things that we don't like with this. So I'm going to add a paint layer. I'm just going to use a brush. If you go down to your grayscale, if you click on it, you can paint on over the mask. So if I let me try and find some other reference. If I go to the reference, that's going to suddenly bring in a whole new world of taking much longer. So we're just going to kind of, although you should stick to your reference. Let me just find it. I'm just going to pick a random picture. And look, there we go. We got lots of stuff going on here. And I forgot about that. Okay, so what we need to do... You can sort of see where I was going with this sort of grinded sort of thing. So it's not going to be exact, but we can give it a go at being better at some point. But for now, I'm just going to select a dirt, just because I don't want it to be an absolute perfect sort of. And what you do, you'll get so basically, what I'm doing, and you can fast forward through it, probably this takes ages. It depends on how close you want to get. Like, we can get it with masks and doing stuff, and there's probably much more cleverer ways, but I'm just going to paint in some of the more heavy-handed details. So, like, that's clearly a bit more worn around there. It's not so worn on the sides, so I'll just paint that mask back. And it's these sort of details that will you'll really not really get in a. That's what I say. I'm a basic user of Substance, so maybe there are better ways to do this, but this is kind of the way I do it. Go as far as you can with the masks, then go absolutely wild with painting stuff. Like some of these bits. We can obviously add. Maybe it was a bit too aggressive on the curvature. Because it's probably a lot easier to have more paint the mask back where you don't want it, although it's pretty gross here. That's insane. And we'll just go through and we'll just do some simple fixes. I don't want to spend a huge amount of time on this. See these top bits. Getting a bit more use than the rest. Don't forget you can not just have black and white, you can sort of the good thing with the painting stuff, you can always undo it quite easily. And what I wanted to kind of get rid of was a lot of this stuff on top, because I don't feel it's that bad on top. We can even go maybe let's see if there's I'm sure there's probably a perfectly good. Ooh. Okay. Definitely don't want to do that. So let's actually add another fill layer. We definitely don't want to do that either. So let's just add our levels. Let's throw another roughness on that, see how that goes. It's not going so well. Not that, I wanted to add A levels. I mean, it's not amazing, but you get the idea without me spending ages and ages on it. I would like to spend probably more time on it, but let's not go too crazy, because this has already taken way too long than I wanted. So we'll just do the plastic parts now. I struggle to I do struggle to keep things. I just overthink things sometimes, and they take longer than they need to be, and I make mistakes, and I've not pre-planned this, and trying not to make these really ridiculously long tutorials that people don't watch. So got plastic. That's gonna be blackish grey, I think. I think black. And let's just throw a random roughness on that. Look. Grunge leak spots. Let's see what that looks like. Probably not so much, actually. Let's not do that. kind of make it a bit. It kind of looks like rubber now. We don't want it to look like too much like rubber. What we can do is I think that I did that wrong. Let's leave that as it is. We can delete that fill. This is probably not a very good substance tutorial, I'm not going to lie. But we can add our roughness into a different layer. I don't know, let's just pick a random one. Grunge, what's this one? Grunge leak dry. Seems alright. Then we can just change our roughness. Although, why is that not changing? Because I am stupid, that's why. You want to put it in a black mask. Fill. And let's just pick, what's this one? Grunge fluff. Probably not that one. Powdery mass. Grunge dirty leaky. Marble veins. Let's just pick a random one of that. And there we go. Because that's in our mask, we can now change the roughness of that. And change the roughness of that. So it's out of fill. I don't know, like a dirt layer or something. Definitely dirt cavities because it's full of in the holes. Let's just do that so we can see it. Cool, that's looking pretty nice in there. Just change that to, I don't know, something darker. We probably want to add let's add a black mask on this. Put on that one. Let's turn off our that. Maybe our roughness. Let's put some anastrophic roughness in there, maybe. Maybe create some sort of. Let's Let's change this to red just so I can see where it is. There we go. So it's just a little bit of extra stuff, you know what I mean? Like it gets pulled in, pulled out in. It's not at levels. Just play around with it, I guess. It's pretty naff, but you might add a little bit of extra. A little bit of extra, you know what I mean? Just something that's we can always add a fill. You can see how that's broken it up now. Let's just use the black and white spots. You can use, I don't know, clouds. You've really got just you'll end up probably just picking ones that you really like. Rough dirty. And you can see how that's broken that up quite nicely. Cool. It still looks a bit rubbery, although that should not have it. Let's take it off that, because we might want to do that again. Excuse me. Okay, so you kind of get the idea. This is quite a list, like an hour long. I don't want to go on and on and on, but we can fast forward through this. Excuse me. Let's add another layer. here somewhere. Where are you? There we are. Okay, cool. So what we're doing here is, let's actually put our colour back on. Change it to red just so we can see what we're selecting. We want to select our UV fill. Just selecting all these round bits, like going around like that. Probably that bit as well. Should be another one somewhere. Where are you? There you are. Cool. And the reason for this is because we want to add those anisotropic lines. I need to double check which way those actually go. So very fine. You can see it's this like tiny amount. But something's better than nothing, eh? We'll just put this up to like 45 or something. Then we can. We already start to get a little bit spec. We'll just call this spec 1. And we'll do the same again. But we will do the sides now. Not that bit. That might not even be correct, but you get the idea of what I'm doing. I'm just kind of breaking it all up, and we'll just add one more spec. Just trying to. I don't know how people do these tutorials at such a quick time. Oh, it's impossible, man. So just grab all those top bits. And we'll do the same again. We have actually got this spinny one. You just got to find the center. Maybe it won't work like that. Because we're not all in the same place. Well, might have to do it one at a time, but you know what I mean. I'm already taking way too longer on this than I'd want to, so we're just going to add some dirt on there. Down that curvature. You can sort of see where we're getting at. We're getting pretty close with it all. Let's make sure you. So the dirt layer. Carries is always a good one. This is turning into a super long tutorial. Hopefully you're probably getting the idea of just lots of breakup, lots of mixing maps. Way too much in there. Something like that. I know it's pretty rough still, but we're getting something-ish. I'm trying not to make too long. I'm going to just quickly stop recording and re-record it so it's not a jump. Also just noticed that it's got very dark. So, yeah. Oh, you can see what the most important stuff is. It's just this terrible texturing. So, you know what? We could spend a long time doing stuff like that. I'm going to move on. I'm trying to make this as quick as possible, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is like leather bit. There's only one bit that's leather. So, and obviously you're probably going to spend way more time on this than I will. It's just mostly getting you done to see that it's all about getting all those nice details. I wonder if there's actually a leather. I thought there was a leather. there's a smart material. Do you know what? Let's not start using smart materials. Let's just see what we can make. There's a leather. Set the levels. Let's just really reduce it. And you know what? It probably doesn't matter. Let's just get dark, dirty leather. Is that a feel? Let's throw a cavity dirt on it, because I'll probably fill it in nicely in places we don't see. Look at that. That's probably exactly what we want. And let's do well, that's not working how it should. Cool. And we got some really rubbish. Do you know what? I'm going to be honest. I am just going to add this. Because it may sound lazy, but I can't be bothered to do those bits separately. So, I know it's pretty rough and pretty nasty. It's not great. But what we also need to do, probably should have done this right at the start. Do you know what? I'm gonna have to turn on my camera and turn auto exposure on, because gonna make my stuff laggy though, but so we've kind of got this. It's not like a hero. Imagine we're gonna see it from like this far away. I'm not massively bothered about that. We are missing a couple things we probably should add in, which are the sort of numbers on the side. And what we'll do is alphas. There we go. I've already made them. Look at that magic. And we'll import them. Cool. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to match that. Nothing amazing. Should I have done this on the original base metal? Probably. So what I'll do, I'm just going to... Oh, no. And you can link this up so all your maps sort of work with it as well, using anchor points. Could go into it, but I'm just gonna add paint on that. So what we got? And you know what? I'm not going to be exactly precise. I'm doing that wrong. So what I want to do is actually remove, add a black mask on that. And if I just crank that up, something like that, and just use it as a mask. There are lots of ways you can do this. This is just my terrible way of doing it. And it does the stuff you don't want it to do. You want to turn all the jitter off, flow jitter. Cool. So now if you put that down, you can sort of see we've got numbers, but they are going the wrong way. And it's not exactly matched perfectly, as I would say, but it gives you an idea of what you can do. And you can rub it out if you need be. So what, I'm just going to copy this. C86. Grab the 05. Kind of all wonky. Big space between that. Although the 1985 is like here, so let's get it something correct. 5 is like there. I know this is not exactly a wizard texturing right now. And what else we got? So we've got 0. Right, I need to remember what rotate is. I always forget. Not that. There we go. Oh, we got a 0, a 1, and we got a literally complete. And they are upside down like that. I imagine there's a 2 there, but we can't see it, so I'm not going to bother. And you're 3. Look at that, lovely. Some really terrible textures, but it's something. We also never ever did anything on this side, so let's go back to our painted parts and go to our paint. And let's just go to our brushes and add some extra. Just add some extra bits on here. I don't know. Feel free to go wild with this. I try my best not to make this last a long time, and it seems to have lasted a long time. I'm sorry about that. So we do have this clamp here, so I imagine that would be worn away more on that. It is worn away, I know it is because I can see on the reference, but I'm trying not to bring it up as much to save time. And it's all about just attention to detail and stuff like that. I'm literally just making this shit up as I go along. Sorry, I shouldn't swear, but I did. But that's a fact. I probably should be using the reference. This is very naughty of me. I've made a mess here. But I just kind of want to get it done and dusted. So what we probably also want to do is actually what we didn't do on our base metal. We probably should add and yet there is like automatic rust materials and all that sort of stuff, but that's let's go dirt spots. Let's add a fill on that. I want to add more texture to this. I will actually put this in a folder called Rust. Add levels. There's probably a better way for us to do this. Do you know what? Let's just use the rust. You got metal rust here. And when you click on that, that should automatically do it. It's always a bit orange because it's rust, if you know what I mean. So let's see if we can work up this mask a bit better. So what we will need to do is turn off the height. Because now we've got all these lumpy bits, which we do not want. They're nice, but we don't want. Let's turn the height range. Maybe it's something that we can keep because it's a nice little, thing. But you gotta be gentle with it. You can see now we've got some little rust bits poking through here, which is kind of actually quite nice. See what it looks like. So it's picking up in little areas now. So some of these scratches actually from earlier on that I don't actually like that much, which is on the painted parts. There should be something for scratches. You know what? I don't know why I'm even bothering. Let's just add a paint. Spec update. And let's just paint some spec. not with that. See how we can just pretty much break up some bits that we don't particularly like. I mean, like, keep the bits. Probably let's Pink Party. Let's remove. Or is that little wing nut? At one time I knew where all the bits were. But now coming back to it, I have no idea where all the bits are. I don't know if you're even watching right now. If you are, say cheese toasty. And we'll see if you are still watching. Where is that bit? I thought I would have put it together. It's gotta be over here. Well, I don't know where it is, but I will just manually do it like this. Cool. So, you know, it's not amazing, but you know, we're taking quite a long time here. So now, kind of what I always like to do is let's undo that. Let's do an overall, which is basically overall everything, dirtiness over everything. Let's do a cavity. Just adds extra detail. It's hard to see sometimes, so go for the classic red. You can see where it's adding in bits. Um, let's see what that gives us. I do not know why. I don't know if I'm just doing something dumb. But that usually should be alright. Anyway. Cool. And what we'll do is let's add a final. Let's get some metal rust on there, eh? I think this will need to be on the body. Only want really small amounts. And let's change that to something a bit darker. Still think that these are a bit too clean. So let's get some. I think maybe we are done. Let's actually save this because I haven't saved it. Let's save it on the desktop with all the other rubbish. That took longer than I expected, but I think we've got a reasonable result for something that's not hero, something that's a bit further back, closest to the reference. I know I've not really been checking it that much, and it kind of looks blue in the reference, but it's really not blue. If you followed that all the way through, thank you for watching. There are probably other things that we should do, like fixing the insides of those bits. I've got a feeling. Let's put it in the overall paint. Come on, this is going to be. Let's actually make it red so I can see where it's at. Where is the red bit? I think it is this. And I've got a feeling that's probably because I'm going to turn it on UV so it doesn't do a tangent ramp, so I can just paint it on. Where's the colour gone? I just want to paint this black. What bit is that? I've definitely messed up somewhere with the UV. I don't know where that bit is. Should be a blaringly obvious red thing somewhere. God damn it, where is it? There it is. So there is definitely something wrong here, but it doesn't matter. I would imagine that's probably because I just didn't UV it properly, or it's not been unwrapped. But I imagine because let's not worry too much about that. That'll be right. And I think we're probably handle's probably a bit too shiny, a bit too clean. Plastic. Come on, you know what, let's just actually let's take a render of it and see what it looks like. Hopefully it should look alright. And there's tons of stuff we can add to this, but I think for now we might be fine. I think it looks alright, you know. It's not. Obviously, if you're doing it for like your texturing real and stuff like that, you're going to want to spend a bit more time on it maybe the paint is actually a bit too... Is that one? Yep. The paint is probably maybe a little bit too... Let's go with something like that. Let's try it now, see what it looks like. Well, not a huge amount of difference, but it looks all right. Maybe somewhere along the line. We have lost a bit of our looking at the wrong thing. Yeah. Let's bring some of that spec back. Metallic as well. Feel maybe that's a bit too spotty. Cool. So I think that's probably done. So I'm just going to save that one more time. I know it's not probably should spend a lot more time on it. Just save. And next one we'll just export out our textures, and maybe in the next one we'll just do quick look dev on it, and we'll be done with it. So I know it's been a super long tutorial, and if you've watched it, that's great. Really appreciate it. But yeah, we finally came back. The most important back is coming back, right? Even if it's so we're going to export textures. What we're gonna do is size based on, let's do 4K. Output templates. This one always messes me up. Okay, so got the base color in, so we can. Do you know what? You can delete that and tidy it up. You know, who cares? Like if I deleted well, don't worry about it. It's fine. Alright, list of exports. Mr. Hype, attack, Nor office. Pretty much all we need. Desktop. I should not be sticking stuff on the desktop, that's for sure. Favorite. I think it's actually in here. New textures. Select folder and export. And that'll export them all. We probably spend so much more time on this. It's just a massive texturing stuff. It takes so long to do it right and nice. Hopefully you've seen some tips or stuff that I've done. I use it on a very simple level. I'm definitely not like a power user of Substance, but it's great for like if you're just doing real quick stuff. It's got some really handy tools, but you could spend days, weeks really leveling up sort of textures on something like this. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and yeah, hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Hopefully sooner than what it was from UVing to texturing. But yeah, and I'm going to probably edit this and see how laggy my face is with the audio. But anyway, thanks for watching. See you in the next one, and take it easy.